everyone. Thank you for tuning
Hi.
in. I know you're seeing my desktop. I've got all sorts of screens on right now because we have all sorts of people with us here today. So I'm going to pause for a second to make sure I get my slides up correctly here. I have a seesaw class. I just actually, there we go. This is a little bit better. This is what we want, right? This is our idea share, and we are super excited that you are here today. We can give a little wave to all of my panelists. We have so many people with us that are pre-K through second grade teachers. We've got Jonna and Melody and Sophia and Robin. So they're going to be sharing their classroom ideas with you here today. And I want to just share a couple things with you as we get started. If you've never joined us for a session before, welcome. And just know that you'll get a certificate because you're here live. And if you're watching the recording, you're going to listen for a code that you will provide in a form to get your certificate. So keep that in mind as well. The plan for this session is every panelist today is going to share an idea, lots of ideas, but they're going to start with their very first post of the year, what they did this year in their classroom. They're also going to share a couple more ideas. We're hopefully going to have time for discussion and questions. We were so excited, and we almost didn't start this session because we were chatting so much before we got going. So they have lots to share. So again, thank you for hanging in there as we got started and ready to roll. So without further ado, we are going to get started. I'm Angela. If we've never met before, I taught kindergarten for 15 years and now lead the community team here at Seesaw. So I love to connect on Twitter. If you'd like to connect with me there, I welcome you to do that. And we're going to start with Jonna here today. So Jonna, let's get going.
Hello, I'm Jonna McGoy. I am a kindergarten teacher in Metro Atlanta. I have been teaching for 18 years, 7 of them in kindergarten. I am fortunate enough to have a one-to-one iPad classroom, and actually I learned a lot about Seesaw from Angela while she was in kindergarten.
Back in the day.
I was back on Seesaw when it was Seesaw EDU, so that's how far back I go.
We go way back. We go way back. I love it.
Yes. I'm a Seesaw ambassador, and I'm definitely on Twitter. Okay, this is the first, moving fast. This is the first post that we did in kindergarten, which was a counting and cardinality math assignment. We had to, they had number cards, and they picked a number card, and they had 0 to 5. And they had to draw the number, write the numeral, draw the dice, and draw the number of objects that match that number. So that was our first post of the year. We were starting a little bit slow. We started with the drawing feature. I
love it. You're working with kindergartners, so that's a great place to start. I love it. I love it. What's your next idea, Jonna?
Okay, this is like one of my favorite new apps. It's called 3D Bear. And it is sort of like an augmented reality app, and you can put objects that are 3D in a picture with you. So it makes it look like you are holding the object, near the object is with you. So we use this for our 3D shape portion when we were teaching math for 3D shapes. And so we took a picture. They were holding the object. They could do a cube, a sphere, a cone, or a cylinder. And they described the shape that they chose. And you can also use Seesaw to write on the shape. So we uploaded the picture, we used a microphone, and then bam, it was there.
Boom, bam, I love it, I love it. We're gonna play some of these examples, but I wanna get into this one because I think we'll have a couple of questions here. Talk about this example.
Okay, well, this is something that I created in Seesaw, and there may be another workaround for this, but I wanted to do just an audio QR code.
Yep.
And Vocaroo expires, so Seesaw was the best option for me, so I used the note feature. I typed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 according to which sentence it was, then I recorded over the note, made it a QR code, printed it out, put it on in a booklet, and students scan it with Seesaw, they listen to it, and they write the sentence and draw a picture to go with it.
I love it, I love it. And I'm gonna share this example to kind of really illustrate the process that Jonna followed here. Jonna, sorry. Um, You're like, it happens to me all the time. So we're gonna kind of listen to her example here because again, she is adding this as a teacher and she's just using the note feature here.
I went to the park.
Okay, so again, simple sentence, right?
Yes,
and then
simple sentence.
when you created that post in Seesaw, then you tap the 3 dots under the post to create a QR code. And then you use that QR code and pasted it on this actual paper document that maybe then you could have out at a station or a writing center or something like that. And they scan it with Seesaw, listen to you, and then off they go. Am I recapping that correctly?
You are. That's exactly right. And it doesn't expire. The other apps that I use, the link expired. So Seesaw was a great way to create an audio QR code.
Oh, yay. Thanks, John. I love those ideas. So Sophia, we're going to have Sophia turn on her webcam and Jonna's going to turn hers off. And Sophia, welcome. So glad to have you here. Tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, thanks for having me. I've been a second grade teacher for the past 8 years. Before that, I've done everything from pre-K to EL resource to now I'm doing a literacy enrichment position. So I've been all over the place and loving every part of it. Second grade definitely had my heart for quite a while. So I love sharing the resources that I have here. Definitely on Twitter. Love sharing things. All right, let's get going, Angela.
Let's go. Let's go for it. Tell us about your first post.
All right, so the first post of the year, what I love about the activity library is that you don't have to redo everything. Work smarter, not harder. And so this is a great Seesaw link. I put it on the left-hand side of the slides. And it's just an all about me. But what I love about the all about me, sometimes you take a picture of yourself and you put the labels. This one, they had to draw themselves. So we're practicing the drawing tool. We're practicing the labeling tool. And then some of these posts, I'm not sure if this one I put the link in, but they also then recorded themselves talking about themselves. And it's a great way, especially this year, I have over 150 students to get to know them, their names, and what they like.
I love it. I love that idea. What's your second idea here?
I love Multipage.
Yay!
Yes. When it came out, I had a little something to say about it on Twitter. And
yeah, it was like, finally it's arrived, right? Finally it's here.
I talked about how I've been talking about Multipage for 4 years, and it finally came through, and it was the best thing in the world. And so now it just opens up a huge possibility of everything that you can do. So what I love about Multipage, so simple for students. It literally is clicking on the drawing tool, and as they're in that first page, there's a little plus button in the bottom right-hand corner. They click on that, it gives them a second picture. So these were things that they could see in their community. It was for first grade. And so instead of them drawing one picture per post, if they just click on the arrow, you can see, I see a school bus, I see a school, I see a Goodwill store. So everything that they could see in the community. And I love that it's all in one post, all the way up to 10 pictures if they wanted to.
Yes, and if you're not yet familiar with Multipage, it is one of our premium features that you can test out and try, but you can also add photos too. So you could, create with that way as well and add lots of things to it. So I love that you shared that example. Approachable for anyone, really. And let's talk about this graphic organizer.
Okay, so I love graphic organizers. No matter what the book is, you can differentiate. Every student could be reading a different book, but using the same graphic organizer to target a skill. So here's a way to push it out. It's key details, talking about a story. As you know, in first grade, lots of drawing before lots of talking. Writing is always going to come third. So if we could get them to draw, if we can get them to talk, then the writing will come, as we get going. And so here's a great response for key details in a story.
First, he ran on to the museum mart, then he went to the hat store, and then he hopped on the umbrella.
I love it. I love it. Quick retell, right?
Yeah, so it's just a great graphic organizer. Push it out, and then they can draw right on top of it. Don't forget that your graphic organizer has to be a JPEG, or they can't write on top of it. Don't push out a PDF.
Good tip, Sophia. I love it. I love it. So as we're going through this panel and you are maybe coming up with questions, if you're here live with us, just make sure kind of to note like who shared that idea, right? So this is from Sophia. So when we go back, we'll kind of hop into more questions, but keep that in mind. And then what's this one?
So this is my favorite option because I was trying every workaround possible. So every Friday we have something called Fluency Friday. And so the kids would take a picture of their fluency passage in Seesaw. They would record themselves, but I wanted them to have the reflection piece afterwards, their reflection and then my reflection. And it ended up becoming 3 posts. Parents were getting confused as to what reflection went with what. And so with Multipage, totally changed everything. First page is going to be the actual sheet of their fluency passage with their recording. Second page is then you can see that fluency reflection sheet that they fill out. And then the third page could possibly be our reflection together or me commenting on their second page, which is their reflection sheet, saying, yes, I agree. I think working on rate is a good idea. You know, next week we can move on to the next passage or whatever else it is. All done independently, 1st grade through 3rd grade. And it really, you know, gives me some more time to spend on students that I need to focus on instead of the ones that I know can handle this kind of independence.
I love it. I love it. And just to kind of describe this a little bit too, so what Sophia has done here, are you having them create the multi-page on their own, or have you set up the activity with the passage ahead of time, Sophia?
So I'm setting up the template.
Yeah.
So then it's getting pushed out as an activity. It's the easiest way for me to control it.
Right. So in this example, she already had this specific passage and the reflection on it. So then the student can just, right from the activity when they add their response, start recording themselves reading it and fill out the reflection. In addition, you could also, you know, have them do it as well in terms of adding a photo of a book they choose or something like that as just another option. But I love that example, Sophia. Thank you so much. Great. So we're going to talk with Melody now. So Melody's going to turn on her webcam. Sophia's got hers off. Like we've got so much going on here today. I love it. I love it. So Melody, tell us a little bit about you and let's get into your ideas.
Hi there. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, we can. Yes, yes.
Oh, great. My name is Melody Barnes. I've been in early childhood for 24 years now. I'm in a classroom of blended students. That means I have 3 to 5-year-olds in my classroom. I have students who are different learners, learners who learn differently, and I also have students who are English learners as well.
Love it. Connect with Melody. She's happy to connect with you. And I love this first example. Tell us about it, Melody.
So every year I send a video home to my families introducing myself, and I know that they're going to be showing their little ones. So what I love to hear when they come in for sneak peek is that their child has seen the video already, and so they don't come in nervous to come and meet me. They've seen me, they've heard my voice, they've played it over and over again, and if you know kids, they know how to operate that phone or that iPad, and you know, they're hugging it at night, and you know.
I love it. I'm gonna play this example, a little bit of this example because it's adorable.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Barnes, and you found me. I am so excited to meet you on our sneak peek day this Thursday. Even if you've been in our class, I still want you to come, and here's why. I am going to make a giant family wall in the classroom because your family is the most important part of who we are.
I love it. So when you get the slides, you can listen to that full video. But Melody, you have added this to Seesaw probably before families, maybe that before they're all connected. So I just added a little note here that to make sure you add it to every student journal. It's kind of like a pro tip there. But I love that idea of creating that comfort for students, but also those connections right away with families as well. So let's look at your next example. Tell us about this.
So my next example is using a blog in preschool to share what you're working on in the classroom. I feel a lot of times that parents really want to know exactly what you're doing from week to week. If you're doing some kind of weekly phonetic program or number program, and we are trying to save trees, right? We don't want to print paper like we used to. So one of the things that I've done is create a blog. I created a separate class away from my classes that my families are connected to. And so what I would do is I would take a screenshot of the digital form so that it's in a PDF, not a PDF. So it's in a photo form, because when it's in a photo form, then you can talk over it. You can do a voiceover. So what I did in our school, we use something called SoundJar. And in SoundJar, we're focusing on the sound that the letters make. So every week, our letters do not go in alphabetical orders, but every week I release the new sound, and then the families can just go to the website that the blog is linked to, and then they can join in and understand what we're doing. And I love it because they're not getting the wrong information. They're getting the right information because they're getting the information that you're teaching their child directly from you to them.
I love it. I love it. So again, so she has actually created a separate Seesaw class for the purpose of sharing these specific materials. So they're kind of just in one spot that they can continually go back to. So she actually has a really great video talking a little bit more about this process. So when you get the slides, make sure you watch this, because you'll kind of understand a little bit more how she, you know, adds some more to it throughout the year. So I thank you so much for including that video too, Melody.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then your next idea, tell us about this.
So I think a lot of times preschoolers or preschool teachers and educators may not think that students can actually post when they're that little, 3, 4, and 5, but they can. And one of the tricks that I like to use for my preschoolers is to have a microphone. So microphones are not as expensive as they used to be. You can get a handheld for about $10 to $15. And what it does is amplify the child's voice, but it also starts to exclude all the voices that are happening around in your classroom. So I had my student record herself after taking a picture of a pumpkin. And what I love about this is that you get all this rich information from the kids themselves. In this post, she was talking about glitter.
Right, all sorts of information, right?
Lighting her purple stem on top of her pumpkin. And she was very enthusiastic about sharing because she knows mommy's going to hear it. So let's listen.
This is my pumpkin. It has seeds in my pumpkin, but I drove it in the art places.
So I'm not gonna play it all, but one of the things that instantly pops into my head too is oral language development here, especially in a preschool classroom, giving them the opportunity to explain and use that vocabulary. I love that example. And I know a lot of teachers out there, and you're saying you're working with 3, 4, and 5-year-olds in your classroom, and they really do it. So I love that you kind of said, yes, they can. Of course they can. So Melody, great examples. Hi, Robin. We're going to chat with you next. So Robin's going to turn on her camera. Melody's going to turn hers off. And Robin, hello. Tell us a little bit about you.
I am a 2nd grade teacher from Colorado. It's snowing right now, so I'm super glad I'm inside. I've been teaching for 15 years, kindergarten up through 2nd grade, but I'm also a differentiation coach. And I've been a Seesaw ambassador for 4 years now. And I did Seesaw back in the day when we didn't have all this cool stuff. So you're going to get to see kind of what I do with it now. So.
I love it. I love it. Let's take a peek. What's your first post?
So my first post of the year is actually from the book First Day Jitters, and a lot of teachers read it every year. Ours was actually a drone shot of our class. So we got a drone with a grant last year, so we flew that guy up there, took a picture, and it was just pictures of our first day. Our kids didn't actually do a first post. However, I did link inside this the activity that our students did do. So I created an activity where students got to put their Jitter Juice emojis in, and you just see a little blank a template there, and then they just play with the label tool. So I like to do one tool at a time at the beginning of the year. That way students get used to using that tool and then getting to record. And some of the kids read the poem, but mainly what we want is the kids to share their emotions on the first day of school.
I love that. So again, all the steps to make that happen are right at the top, and Robin has shared her great examples, and she actually has some videos here too. We'll play a couple of them, but what's this one?
So this one is a fun one that I loved and I adapted this year, because when we used to use Seesaw a few years ago, my kids would go on noun hunts around the classroom or school, and we would take all the photos from our camera, upload them into a PIC collage, and then take PIC collage and put it into Seesaw. So I made this fun activity page, And basically, as we were becoming noun detectives, the kids just went on a noun hunt around the classroom or school. They got to use the photo tool for that and take pictures of nouns around the school. So it was pretty cool to see pictures of their friends or the principal and just to go around the school. And it was just a different way to do a scavenger hunt. I only have 2 iPads in my room, but I can check out an iPad card at my school. But honestly, I usually do this with small groups going around the school to do activities and rotate it, and it's been really successful. The fun part is too, I have a 5-year-old, so when I make my templates, he goes and takes all the pictures and helps me pull stuff, and even gets to do some recording for me.
He's the tester. I love it. I'm going to play a little bit of this video.
This is my Noun Detectives hunt, and I went on a noun hunt in my classroom. The first person I found was a teacher. Then I found a student.
I love it. And I love that you're incorporating your real school and classroom environment with your students to really add a level of connection and meaning. I love it. I love it. Tell us about this one.
This is a fun activity I do with students. I always want to connect with them after break, and I feel like we do a quick check-in, but I am a huge relationship person. So when I want to connect with students, I often share out when we come back at the beginning of the week or in the mornings or coming from break, an activity that they can share about me. That way, when I go home on a Monday night or I'm coming home after a fall break, I get to see what they really did. We're also finding a lot of power with our students in storytelling and telling narrative right now. And this is just a way to tell narrative with pictures and symbols. So the one you'll see is my example, and it's just pictures of things we did on fall break, but then added recording of them telling what they got to do. And the most powerful thing is really me getting to comment back to them and just really celebrate who they are as learners.
And you're such a sharer. I love it, Robin. And a lot of our panelists today have activities in our activity library that you can definitely check out, and they are ready for you to use. So here is Robin's activity. So you could try this with your students. Maybe they're just coming back from fall break as well. You could give that a try. Love it. Thank you.
About this is I same thing with Pic Collage. I used to have parents send me pictures of fall break or vacation. Then we would put it into Pic Collage, and it was just a lot more steps. And what I found when I heard this week with my students is they wanted to use the label feature, and they were putting labels with the drawing and the creative tools. And it was really cool just to see what they came up with and what they did on break.
I love it. And again, building that community and those connections in your classroom, I think is so important. In everybody's room, of course. Yeah, we all know that. I'm going to pause and give the code for those of you that are watching the recording for the certificate. The code is 239757. And again, you don't have to worry about that if you're here live. But I am actually going to back it up a little bit because I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to kind of take a second peek at everyone's contact info, and also give an opportunity for you to think about questions that you might have for our panelists that we can chat about for a few minutes as we close out today's session. So think about that. I'm going to hop into our question tab here as we conclude this session. So let's see. Questions. I don't know if there's any new questions coming in. Oh, I love the QR code sentences. Yes. We love that. We love that, right? I think I lost my slides again. They have disappeared. We've got so many webcams on though. We're good with that, right? Let's just make those webcams big and see. Oh, maybe it won't show it. It shows a black screen. Darn, that would have been great. All right, here we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, questions coming in. Let's take a peek.